What's going on? It's Kevin Kenny in New York City for the Build series, and our guest today has shared the stage with acts like Metallica, Slayer, Luke Bryan, Eric Church, and just announced, as of this morning, a brand new world tour in support of their brand new album coming out on February 7th, 2020, Country Fuzz. Let's give it up for the Cadillac Three.
Yeah. Hey.
That's calling me off guard there. I was enjoying your work. We were watching the music video.
Yeah, we were too. We were back there drinking. Just going, oh, this is great.
I hadn't seen this in a minute.
Look at us.
Us.
Dude, well, I love, I don't want to spend too much time on labels and genres and stuff like that, but you guys bring such a unique flavor to the table because there's a funk to that. There's going to be even more funk, I understand, on the new record. But how do you guys see yourselves? Because I know you're not the biggest fans of the term Southern rock.
Country Fuzz.
Country Fuzz, right? Yeah.
I think it's tough for us because all three of us grew up, born and raised in Nashville, and so that's the home of country music. So you have that in your blood, and you have that in your whole thing. But at the same time, when we were kids, the times we were being the most inspired was like when Nirvana hit and when Rage Against the Machine hit, and growing up in the South, and then the country music thing being forced down your throat, you want to rebel at 13. And so I think kind of what we've done here with the new record and our sound in general is kind of come up with something that kids like us would dig, that grew up wanting something, but they were for something else, and you kind of like both of them when you grow up, so that's kind of where we ended up.
Is there a pressure, and I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way, but is there a pressure growing up in Nashville for the music you make to be country-esque?
I think in a way, I mean, you just grow up around it, and it's just part of being around there. But I didn't realize that everybody moved to Nashville to play music till I went to college. I thought it was just kind of a thing that everybody did around town. So I think it could go both ways, really.
Yeah, I think we're lucky to have grown up in Nashville. It's all of us being fans of songwriting. It's hard to know, did we get that because we're from Nashville, or would we have been that way anyway and wanted to move to Nashville? But I think we were really lucky to end up there and then all meet in high school at the same time and be inspired not only by country music that was going on in the 90s and stuff like that, but also bands like Jaron was saying, like, Rage or Tom Petty or
Metallica.
Any of those.
Yeah. When you guys meet in high school, like, what are you each collectively listening to?
Ooh, man, it's a big spectrum.
Yeah.
So Kelby, when I met him, we were 14, and he was walking down the hall at high school, and Hume Fogg High School, go Blue Knights. Yeah. But he's walking down, he's got this huge tank top on with Jimi Hendrix on the front. It's way too long.
I had an afro.
Like
my hair was this big.
Yeah, the length of that shirt would be super in style right now. You know what I mean? But and he had this huge afro that was picked out. And his hair believe it or not, his hair can still do that.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I'd never seen anybody my age look like that. You know what I mean? And so I was immediately, I was like, dude, we should hang out. He probably is like-minded, in music or whatever. So I was listening to a lot of Nirvana, like I said, White Zombie, Rage Against the Machine, Sonic Youth, Dinosaur Jr. I was really into that. But my dad played drums at the Grand Ole Opry. So I would go see him on the weekends, play with Jeannie Seeley or Gene Shepard or Shotgun Red and Little Jimmy Dickens and all these things, and it's like, there's two different worlds. It's it's pretty wild.
So we were around country the whole time.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to Hank Williams Jr. too. His big influence on me when I was growing up. My mom was a huge fan. So you throw Hank Jr., Metallica, and even Fish a little bit. I mean, we went to a bunch of Fish shows in high school and stuff.
I might have got arrested in Indiana. LaPel County.
Show.
Still can't go there. Brutal.
Well, you know what? To me, there is a through line, though, and it's sort of like whether it's Rage or whether it's Hank or whether it's any of these things that you guys are into, it's like the outlaw spirit, right?
Yep.
Do you see that parallel? Do you see that through line with the music you guys dig?
Man, totally.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
I think country music is such an interesting genre because it's always changing. It's going this way, it's going this way. I think right now it's a really cool spot because there's a couple of outlaws that are winning that outlaw mentality. Like, you have Eric Church, who's a dear friend of ours, who kind of opened a lot of doors for us in the beginning. Hank Williams Jr. is still doing it. I don't know how, but he's still doing it. You got your Brentley Gilberts and stuff like that. I think that we've fallen a place where it's commercially accessible, but also there's this thing that, we're not going to every radio station, which we probably should, and trying to get them to play our song. We're just going and playing shows for the fans.
Right.
And I think it's growing in a natural, organic way because of that. We're not chasing something. We're trying to create something.
Right.
And there's a place in country music right now for that, I think, and and that tends to be the outlaw spirit kind of thing.
Yeah, and if you do it that way, right, grassroots and just organically like that, radio is going to have to come to you.
You hope
'Cause if you're
eventually.
hitting the road, you're making the
That's the
towns,
plan.
right? Yeah,
I like to
no.
hope it gets so big that radio can't not play it.
Well, it's also cool because we're lucky enough to talk to a fair amount of country acts on the show, and I think the really popular thing to do is actually take it in the other direction and go super pop these days in country, and that's well and good too, or like the EDM influences. But you guys again kind of carving out your own lane, which is refreshing for sure.
I don't think we'd be very good at the pop thing.
Or the EDM thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from what we grew up on, but then a lot of it also comes from some of the early people that we toured with. People like Skinner and ZZ Top, and it's like they weren't considered. They probably didn't fit into anything when they started, and where they ended up, people just know them for exactly who they are. And so it's nobody sounds like ZZ Top, but ZZ Top. And so I think
us.
Yeah, and us a little now, but if we're striving for anything, it's to one day have people kind of just be like, well, Cadillac 3 sounds like Cadillac 3,
Yeah. Which is harder to achieve than people realize. You know what I mean? Like finding your sound and finding who you are in this world of music. Do you guys adjust the set at all if you're going to play like alongside a Metallica versus like an Eric Church or a Luke Bryan? No.
Not
really.
Don't give any thought to that?
I mean, do we think about it? Maybe, but I think that, we've played everywhere from the middle of a field in front of 50,000 people in the UK, playing in front of Aerosmith or somebody like that, or Metallica, to, playing in front of the same amount of people in front of
Dierks Bentley
Dirks or whatever, Sam Hunt or something. Yeah, and so I think
That's what's cool about this band, though, too. I think is just like it's heavy and it's in the right times, and it's songwriting straight from a dude that grew up in Nashville in the 90s. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of right down the middle for everybody. And there's a little piece it's like one of those pizzas, and this has pineapple and pepperoni on it. This one has salami and whatever. I don't
Getting
know.
hungry.
Yeah, but hell yeah, let's hit it.
So we got pizza for everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, it's over here. It's
But I mean, I think there's a slice for everybody in our thing. I think a little bit, unless you just don't like
pizza.
unless you don't like Southern pizza, man. That's actually a good title for. Damn it,
Southern pizza.
Yeah, Southern pizza.
It's the next album for sure. You guys, of course, like Nashville's a town of kind of writing sessions and collaborating. Can you guys tell when somebody is from Nashville, like you guys are, versus if somebody's an out of towner that moved there later on in life?
there's very few that are from
I
Nashville.
was gonna say we're the
Right.
only ones from there,
Yeah.
basically.
What are like the markings though of like a true like born and raised Nashville resident?
They have a horn stick that's usually we call them unicorns in Nashville. They're actually from
Almost
Nashville.
every single day when I go in to write, somebody asks me where I'm from, and I say Nashville, and they say, "You're the first person I've ever met that's from Nashville." Yeah, I mean,
Usually it's in an Uber.
Yeah, it's pretty much every day.
I don't know. You can definitely tell when like people come in to write and they haven't been there long because it's like they're just trying to feel it out, or like because writing in LA or writing in New York is or in London is a completely different thing. Like most times in Nashville, like at least I have people come to my house. We just hang out at my house, we drink beer, or whatever, and write a song. LA, you're going to this fluorescent building, kind of not like this. This has got vibe. These rooms usually don't have much
Oh,
vibe.
it's so cold. It's like a doctor's
it's
office
like
at times.
office, yeah, and it's very uninspiring at times. And I have had good experiences in LA and New York writing, but like majority of the times it's not as like homey and
They're with strangers a lot of the time too, and you
that's-
gotta write
yeah,
this like
yeah.
personal song. It's
I think Nashville's just got such a cooler. I don't know. It's just there's more love in it for me rather than business. I think a lot of the times when you're even if somebody that I have never met is coming to write with me in Nashville and it's at my house, whatever, it's like you leave there being friends. And the other times, like L.A. or here or wherever, and you probably may not ever talk to that person again. You know what I mean? May not even switch phone numbers. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. Nashville just has this really cool vibe these days where. I don't know. A lot of people, they're saying 100 people a day are moving to Nashville to live there, right?
Does that worry you at all?
Scares the hell out of me.
Right? They're gonna blow up the scene, and then you're gonna have to like, you know what I mean?
Traffic,
we're not-
bad.
Yeah, the interstates aren't
There's just
set
not
up
enough
for that.
room.
Maybe
They
we'll
can't
just
go
move
any
up here.
wider. So.
Right? We were actually talking to an earlier artist today just about how like with any movement or any sort of like genre or scene, there's like the purest form of it, and then you get these like Xeroxes of Xeroxes of Xeroxes, and you worry about that a little bit, but as long as you're being authentic, you probably don't have to pay it any mind, you know?
There's a lot of songwriters in Nashville right now,
just can't go downtown as much or
Yeah.
easily as you once did.
Yeah.
But you guys actually like to write on the road, I understand, and record on the road. That's interesting because I know so many artists that hate that.
We're out so much. I mean, we'll do almost 200 shows this year, and our buses right now they're over in Secaucus,
Yeah,
right across
yeah,
the thing. You know, there's a studio in the back where we kind of try to, I try to write once a day if we're on the road, record, and kind of keep flexing that creative muscle. And I mean, we're constantly working on records for us, and we're constantly working on records for other people. So there's a lot of downtime on the road, man. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. So yeah.
How do you differentiate between a record for you guys and a record for somebody else?
It's always been kind of hard for us, but
Is it?
I mean, there's some songs with us that are no-brainers. I mean, we definitely have our style and our sound, and then there's other songs that you'll write that you really love, and you feel like, well, that could be for the band because it's a really well-written song or whatever the thing is that draws you to it. But at the same time, it could be great for somebody else. And so, maybe the competitive side of us wants to go out there and see whether somebody else wants to do it first, just because that could be a big hit and that would be great, and they go do all the work for us, and we, and that's awesome. But at the same time, we're trying to be smarter about that stuff because we've definitely given away some that have turned out to be big hits that if they would have worked out for us, maybe we'd be in a different place, not that we're in a bad place, just a different place.
But you never know what is going to come out when you write, so sometimes it's obviously not going to be for us. So it's like, it might come out and it's like, well, let's go see if, XYZ country guy might want to record it or something, or
sometimes you just know you're writing something, and we've gotten to know these guys so well that they become friends with us, it's like, okay, this Keith would sing this, you know what I mean? Keith Urban would sing this, or Tim McGraw would sing this, I believe in that for him. And so you take a shot and you send him a text and say, hey, man, I got something, and he usually gets right back, and he's like, this is great, or not for me, man, and then you go down the line and you keep doing it, and then we usually end up cutting it 6 months after nobody's recorded it.
Is there one, though, looking back, right, alternate universe, you wish you could have back?
I don't wish I could have it back, but I wish there's two that I can think of. There's a song that he wrote that Rascal Flatts had a hit with called Payback that I really liked. And then there's a song that I wrote called Raise 'Em Up that Keith Urban and Eric Church did that was, it's such a two-sided thing because like I got to go to the Grammys and stuff because of that song, because of where they took that song. Now could have the Cadillac Three have taken that as far? I don't know, but it's a hell of a song and I didn't give it a shot. So that's one thing I kind of look back on, and you kind of second guess yourself. But
have those experiences informed at all the songwriting on the new album?
Yeah, we're starting to keep more.
Right.
If a song seems like it could be big and maybe bending for our style and pushing us into a direction to where we have to flex our muscles and learn how to play that kind of thing, then we'll keep it a lot of times. There's some stuff on this record that is like that, Yeah.
Tell me about the Jam, because the Jam has introduced me to maybe my favorite musical term of all time,
cool.
Devil Disco.
Oh, nice.
Tell me about Devil Disco and the Jam.
Wow,
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, that's one that, kind of was on hold for somebody else for a while, actually.
Yeah, I wrote that with Brian Kelly from Florida Georgia Line and James McNair and Corey Crowder at the beach. We have a little beach house down there, and we always write. And I thought FGL was going to do that for so long, and they ended up cutting it. It just didn't make the record. Then Lady Antebellum, who is actually also in New York right now, had it on hold. They didn't cut it. And so then I started listening to it, and a couple of songwriter guys were like, y'all should do this. I was like, yeah, right. We'd never do something like this. And then I was like, started listening to it.
Like, wait,
And
we
I
can
was like,
get
man,
funky.
we got to put it in Jerry Reed world or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we did, and it ended up making sense. So, and it actually ended up turning. It was that turning point for the record to kind of take on this more funky thing that has led us into this whole new world, which we're exploring right now for even the next record. So we're excited about
And
it.
you guys are already writing the next record.
Yeah, it's
That's
We're always-
crazy.
it's not
always
in the
writing
can,
new
but
stuff.
it's close. Yeah, it's good.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, that's incredible. With the world tour, or it is a world tour. It sounds crazy, but you're going over to Europe, of course, too. What are you most looking forward to, just playing these songs specifically on this record live for the first time?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just gonna be fun. I think we play, like Jaron said, a couple hundred times a year. We mix up our sets every night, so being able to add 16 songs to the set is gonna be like Christmas or something,
Yeah.
because we've been playing the 30 that we've got in the set for 7, 8 years, something like that. So that's going to be great. But yeah, I mean, we haven't been back overseas in over a year now,
which is long for us.
Really excited to get back. The UK has been really great to us. Europe's been really great to us. We're getting to do another hometown show at the Ryman Auditorium, which is going to be awesome.
It's awesome.
But I'm just curious. I mean, I'm excited and curious just to see where the live show goes. You know, we haven't played a lot of these songs yet, so I don't know how to answer that question for sure because kind of remains to be seen what happens with it.
That's exciting in and of itself.
It is because we get to get in there and you know the songs, we'll jam them out. They'll get longer. There will be new parts written into them and whatnot, and all of that will lead to a new show that we haven't figured out yet, and the crowd will probably see it for the first time as we do.
Figure it out as we go.
Is that rumbling the subway?
Well, we got the subway below us, and then we got a gym upstairs.
So we don't have
There's a lot going on.
We don't have that.
Who's running up there?
That's a lot of.
I was looking around, and it's dark, and it's like 3 in the afternoon.
Are there earthquakes in New York City?
What is this place?
Big Godzilla. Crazy. You before we get to the fan questions, you guys have compared the album making process to like playing with Legos. How would you compare like putting together a set for with new bodies of work out now?
Man.
We do it on the fly. I mean, really,
Yeah?
it's like
Are you like a
with
sound
Legos
check band
every
where you'll
night,
do
yeah.
sound check and then figure out what the set's gonna be?
Not really. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
sound check and play like half a song just to make sure everything works. But then that night
if we sound check.
if we sound check at all, we
Wow.
might be.
We're usually
asleep or
on the bus.
gone.
If we're on at 9:15, it's like 9:14, and I'm looking at the guys going, "So which one do you want to do?"
What do you want to open with?
That's really the way that.
Hang on, I gotta pee.
Yeah,
I gotta take another drink.
Yeah, about 9:25, we walk up there and we actually have the first song, and then from there, I've just got a list on my kick drum, and I just yell stuff out.
I can tell you that, like, as far as making records, like, we were really intrigued when we watched the Tom Petty Running Down a Dream documentary, and like watching those guys make those records, we were like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, it's building blocks, like Legos, like you were saying, but I think I said it at some point too. But like, it's kind of neat to like do a record where some of the songs they just need to be played. All three of us in the room hit the button and we play, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the songs, man, need to be kind of drums, lap steel bass, lap steel guitar, sing, and you can see what you got and see what you need a lot of times there. And like watching Tom Petty and like Rick Rubin, and then when they actually got into the thing where Tom was kind of doing it with Jeff Lynne, so brilliant. Those records sound incredible. It's stacked and it sounds incredible. It's timeless. So we're trying to get to a point where we're confident in the record making situation, which we're definitely getting there 4 records in. So. Yeah.
Certainly are. We're going to get to some fan questions. First to Twitter, at KFord79 wants to know, do you have any plans to tour Australia or do a festival there? It's one of the most common questions I see on social media.
Do you know how long that flight is from Nashville, Tennessee?
We would love to is the answer to that question.
I love Australia, man. It's like as far south as you can get, man. But I'm telling you, it took us, 19 hours to get there last
We did it
night?
once. I'm sure we would again.
Yeah.
K Ford.
Gnarly flight.
Hey, K Ford, if the money's right. Hey.
Do you know somebody? Hey, it's 420.
Let's get to some fan questions here in New York. First, coming from over here.
Hi. If you could collab with anybody living or dead, who would it be and why?
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
He's the best.
Yeah.
That's always been the answer.
Like-
I'm glad you said living.
I'm glad you
or
said
not.
living or dead because he
When
passed
he-
away a few years ago. That was really hard a couple of years ago.
When he passed away, that was kind of our thing. Like, at some point we'll get to meet him at least. You know what I mean? And then he passed away, and it was just like there was this hole in the band for like 6 weeks. We're just like, what are we doing? And then I can tell you right now on my my record, my thank yous on this. I thank Neil and Kelby for keeping on, even when Petty passed away. And so it's like that's how important he is to our band because it's a big deal. Now alive, Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Dave.
Where's he
Holla
at?
at your boy.
Are you in town?
615-388.
Something else.
Why Dave?
There we go.
Ah, man, he's great. Like we had Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters open for us. We did 2
LA.
shows last week, or 3 weeks ago in L.A. And so Chris came down and opened, and we kind of become friends with him a little bit. And I went and saw them. He got me some tickets for a Nashville show that Foo Fighters were playing. And I've been a Dave Grohl fan. I started out as a drummer, and he's a drummer, and he started writing songs, kind of a similar situation that I'm in. And I watched that man. He's 50 years old. I watched that man scream and run around for, had to be 3 hours, scaring the hell out of babies children,
And Jaron.
and me. And I'm a grown ass man. You know what I mean? I was drinking good too, and so it was like, it was an incredible show, and I like to have that kind of energy and passion at this time in his game is just incredible. And I've always loved everything he's done, and so have the other guys. And I'm telling you, Dave, let's do this,
Call us,
bro.
man. Yeah, we're easy to find.
Yeah.
Let's get to some more fan questions that'll come from over here.
Hi. I was just wondering what inspires you guys besides music.
Ooh.
Family.
Fashion, as you can tell. Yeah, we're fashionistas. These are Golden Goose shoes.
Each other. We
My wife
inspire each
bought
other.
me, which I don't, are those Osiris, by the way? Yeah, dude. Old school, yeah, man.
Yeah, Jaron would say shoes.
Yeah, I am a shoe guy. I get into that in guitars, trucks, and cars. My son Jude, pretty obsessed with him. He's very inspiring.
My wife.
If you listen to our songs, alcohol, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to party a little bit. Speaking of which, if any of you guys have any good ideas for places to go after this, just
Dinner, anything?
yeah, because we don't know. We're not from around here, as you can tell.
Yeah, that.
Cool. Awesome. They're telling me we're on time, unfortunately, guys. But congratulations again. The important information: this bad boy, Country Fuzz, out everywhere February 7th next year. And also, you can we get tickets yet, or it's just the
Friday.
dates?
Friday.
Friday, we can officially get tickets.
Friday,
Awesome,
10 a.m.
guys.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much to the Cadillac Three guys. One more time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.